Two different approaches to manifestations, life-changing. Have you ever thought about if manifestation is a real thing? Maybe you tried. Maybe you have been watching a lot of videos. Maybe you did a lot of seminars. Maybe you've been reading books, listening to podcasts, trying different things, but it's kind of like, is it really working? I'm going to share with you in this video two different approaches that I've used, and I'm going to share my perspective on them and also what happened with the two different approaches to manifestation. I'm actually going to start with a third one which didn't work for me, and I'm also going to explain to you why. So back to the first question is, this is probably for you if you tried, if you have that feeling of there must be something better, but the things that you don't want keep showing up in your life, keep testing you, keep holding you down, keep making you feel like this is not good enough. And it doesn't matter what I'm speaking about. It's probably for entrepreneurs, it's probably for leaders, for impact-driven people, leaders who want to serve more people and also create a better life for themselves. And I've been working with pretty high-level entrepreneurs during my life, and what I'm sharing with you in this video is, even maybe you know this, even that you went to one level, it's kind of like, how do I get to the next level? You know how the games. If you're old enough, you know those small, I don't know what they were called, games, electronic games, and you always had to go to the next level. And even though you're unexperienced, not be an experienced entrepreneur, even though you might not be an entrepreneur, but you are a leader, and you have that there must be something more. How can I get to that next level? I'm going to share 2-3 different things, approaches that I've been using, and they changed my life. So, first of all, my name is Michael, and welcome to the channel here. I have been an entrepreneur with 100% only my own business since 2012. Before that, I was a leader for 20 years and operating other people's business and growing a business for and with another guy, and to 50 shops and 500 people in the team. People and managing people and helping people and serving and leading people, and as a coach and a mentor and leader of my own business. Now, my journey, what I wanted to start with, the thing that didn't work for me, and maybe you can relate to this, because my question was, do manifestation work? Does it work? All the things that we hear, you can manifest instantly. Does these things work? Does it work to sit down and visualize things? Does that work? Will that help your manifestation? I will start sharing with you the one thing that I did in the beginning for years that did not work. And I'm going to share with you why. And because that thing that didn't work, it brought me into the first thing that actually worked for me to help me manifest a business with 60 people and get off a depth of $1.5 million. So what didn't work for me, and maybe you can relate to this, was that I was trying to figure it all out. I was trying to sit down and calculate things and see, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And then I worked my behind off to achieve those things. But it didn't work. It didn't work like that, at least for me. It was kind of like I had an idea, I got inspired by an idea, I took action on it, but I came back to the same place. And that same place for me for so many years was launching books, launching websites, launching email lists, and all of these things, only to find out that I didn't serve anyone, and I didn't really help anyone, and I didn't really get any money coming in. So the thing that didn't work for me was really trying with a lot of brain power and also a lot of action. But it was kind of like, on the bike, you got the chain. It was kind of like the chain had fallen off and I was just pedaling. My feet kept pedaling and nothing happened. On the bike and you go like this, nothing happens. It's kind of like I was not connected with the universe. Can you relate to that? So, and I did. I wrote, I think, 3 or 4 books in total. I created 2 or 3 different companies. I launched different websites and all of this, like I mentioned before, but it didn't really work. I had a good paying leadership job, but it was kind of like I wanted more. There was something inside of me that just wanted more. I wasn't satisfied. I was hungry for more. So I started looking for properties, and I had kind of I got very energized by that. And I started loaning money, got the properties, rented it out, and I saw, okay, something is happening now. I built that. Only to come back to the same thing. That same thing was me not having any money. So that was the thing that didn't work for me. And I'll share with you in a moment why it didn't work. And I share that because maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you can relate to hustling and grinding and trying to figure it all out, only to be in the same place. There's a lot of strategies. There's a lot of strategies on manifestation. There's a lot of strategies on business. There's a lot of strategies on dating. There's a lot of strategies on health and fitness. But fact is, more people than ever are also sick. Fact is that many people are trying to run a business, but they're not successful with it, even though there are more strategies than ever on these things. So I'm not saying that the strategies is not working, but I'm saying that there's a reason why they're not working. And also one thing that might be a thing to think about is that it might be that there's a different strategy working for different people. Different strategy for different people. Maybe one strategy is working better for another person that another strategy is. And another person would like the other strategy than the first strategy. Makes sense? Because I'm not saying that there's nothing we shouldn't do in our business that we don't like doing, but I'm saying that when it hits, when the chain is back on and we move the pedal and we see the results coming in, that's good. And again, this could be business, this could be health, this could be dating, right? So I've seen people, maybe you know this, so I'm jumping a little between the areas, but I've seen people, I work with people, and I know it myself too, trying to get fit, right? They go to the gym, but nothing happens. For some reason, nothing happens, and they do all the things that people tells them to do. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And I've seen people who wanted to go on dates, who wanted to find a new partner, and they signed up for dating coaches. They tried things, but it didn't really work for them. They felt the chain was off. They were trying to do the things, but they didn't get the results that they want. They didn't manifest the things that they actually did want in their life. So what are the 2 approaches that worked for me? The first one was, I mentioned this in other videos, but I went to a seminar when I stopped this managing job in 2012. I realized that I wanted to get out of my depth of the $1.5 million, but also I read a book about mindset, and I realized that I had limiting beliefs. I had thoughts that was holding me back. And so I read that book, and it resonated so much with me. So the first possibility that I had, I went to a seminar in London with, I think, 5,000 people or something. It wasn't Tony Robbins, it was another seminar. And there was so much in that seminar that really resonated with me, because I began understanding, and this is the key point for the one thing here, that I had so many limiting thoughts. I had so many limiting beliefs inside of me. Limiting beliefs around money is not good, money is evil. Limiting beliefs around successful people. I actually realized that if I saw a successful person, I felt a little like, what is this? Why is this dude trying to prove himself? And I realized that if I felt like that for another person, how would I become successful? You see what I'm saying? How could I ever become successful if I thought money was evil? How could I ever become successful if I thought that business and money was hard work? So the beliefs was the one and the first thing that really got me, that I had to figure out how to reprogram my mind, how to reprogram those beliefs, how to let go of the things that I didn't want. And that helped me into, and that's the first thing here, that helped me into starting my business, my own business, for the first time in 2012. And it was kind of like the chain was back on. I pedaled and I saw the results. I saw new customers coming in. It was a cleaning company. I saw new customers coming in. I saw money coming in. I had new team members coming in. Since I was a leader, I knew how to handle those things. And I learned how to sell, and I went pretty good at it. So I just sell, and I doubled that company again and again and again and again and again. So it had so much to do with limiting beliefs, your limiting beliefs. And today, how I see it, we're going to go a little deeper than that. But this was the first thing that worked for me. There was the limiting beliefs. Figuring out what are your limiting beliefs. When you know what your limiting beliefs are, you can reprogram, you can let go of them, you can change them, you can transform them, whatever you want to call it, into supporting beliefs. Supporting beliefs, instead of what I said before, could be successful. I love successful people, or I love money, I love growing a business, I love working with my business, I love selling, I love date beautiful women, things like that. But here's the thing, like I said in the beginning, many people try to figure out manifestation, and they sit down and they think about things and they visualize, they repeat things. But the problem is, this is very surface level. We have to go deeper. You have to go deeper if you really want to manifest your dream life. You have to figure out what are the limiting beliefs, because they are holding you down. They're holding you back. Those are the things that's gonna, from my experience and the people that I helped with this, they are just gonna repeat the same thing. It's like a limiting belief saying success is not good. Well, success is not good is gonna be shown in your reality. A lot of things which show success are not good, which means no success. Or rich people are not good, which means no richness. So we have to reprogram. And the thing, when I speak about this, the first thing that worked for me, yes, the limiting beliefs into supporting beliefs. And it's about getting a little bit deeper than the surface level. So you have to become aware what's going on in my mind. You have to become aware what's going on in my mind. Second thing is, that's what happened to me. What's going on in my mind? Okay, I got a lot of limiting beliefs. I got a lot of limiting thoughts, emotions with those and limiting beliefs. Then reprogram. And reprogramming, and this is where when I hear about manifestation, reprogramming is probably not just sitting and saying things. And this is deeper. It's about really going into the feeling of those things, getting deeper and deeper and deeper, going into yourself and feeling those limiting things. And how do you know if a thing is limiting? Well, for me, it feels like, and I know the people I've helped, they have the same thing, but it feels like if you have something that's not working out in your life and you think about that thing, or you think about the thing you want, you feel something inside. And those feelings are probably limiting feelings. They're limiting, connected with limiting beliefs that were installed in us in a young age. And when we become aware of that, and instead of running away from it, that I did for so many years, I ran away from all of those feelings I didn't like. It was not like I'm going to run away from that feeling. It was more like, okay, I couldn't handle those feelings. So my system created a lot of things for me not to feel those feelings. But if you sit down and you feel it, that's the thing. If you really feel those limiting things, then you have the possibility to transform them. You have to be very aware to do this. Now, the thing again for me, which did that I created a successful cleaning company with 60 people. In less than 4 years, I created a coaching business where I supported, helped, transformed entrepreneurs with the same strategies, business strategies that I've used, and also the same inner work that I did. I helped them with that so they could change, and they double their business also. The one thing, I said there's two things in this about manifestation. The one thing that I used a lot of was power. I really used power. I wouldn't say force, but power. I came from inside of me a lot of energy. I had a vision what I wanted to create with my business, what I wanted to create with my coaching business. I had a vision, and I created very simple strategies for both, and I went all in. It was like the chain was back on, and I was in the highest gear. And I was just pedaling, and I saw the results, and I was just pedaling. I saw the results, and I never really relaxed. I was just full power. But it created double in the business, double in the coaching business. So that was the one thing. But again, only power, but without looking inside. For me, that was the thing that didn't work, because I spent years trying to solve it, like I said in the beginning. And maybe you can relate to that. But that didn't work. So I had to change those limiting beliefs, and then the power. The second thing, so power after changing the beliefs. And changing the beliefs as the business grew. New things were showing up all the time. That's how it is. You probably know that. The second approach to manifestation was very different for me. And it comes with a little story, because I spent so much time in that power. And if you saw some of my other videos, you'll know this, but for some reason, the universe came with a very beautiful woman, and we connected, and we went into a relationship, and then it got a very strange, and a lot of strange things happened, and this was over 5 or 6 years. And finally, after a period where I was so drained, so much bad things happened for me, and I was like a little boy just sitting and waiting for this woman that I thought would be the dream partner of my whole life. And I figured out that she had another man for 20 years that I didn't know anything about. That thing, that experience, and I do believe today that this is a synchronicity. This is synchronicities, because I had an intention about becoming free. Maybe you can relate to that too. My intention was to become free, to not feel the emotions of not being good enough. Like deep down inside of me, there was these emotions that I didn't like to feel. But I didn't know how to feel free. And there she was. Now, she didn't have a sign on her forehead saying, "I'm going to solve your freedom thing." But she was gorgeous in my eyes, and she was all the things that I put down on my checklist. And there she was. There was just one thing that I didn't put down, not having another partner. So, add that. But, short story, it took me some years for me to go very deep with my inner work, where it became no more strategies. And here's the thing, to my next approach to manifestation. This was not a strategy. This was not something that I planned. This was just showing up in my life. And it was nearly killing me when I knew. I was ready to say goodbye when I found out what kind of woman she was, after years of manipulation and lies. Now, when I got knocked down by that experience, I had to go deeper with myself. I had to find the people who could help me to go deeper and transform. So even though with the first approach that I've changed limiting beliefs, again, this is my experience, I've helped people with this too. Even though that I changed beliefs and I went to a certain level with my business, this woman showed up. I do believe it was like a synchronicity, a sign, a helper, very disguised, because it cracked. Think of a coconut, right? You cannot get all of the juicy stuff in the coconut without cracking it, without, yeah? And that's how I look at this today. I had to crack. I had built so much facade, so much walls, so much, what do you call that? So much, like an armor around me from young age. And a lot of us has these things. And it's so difficult for some people because they don't really understand it, but they understand that something is off, something is missing. They don't feel like it's right. They don't feel like everything is like it could be or should be. They don't feel like they deserve things. They don't feel like they're good enough. They don't feel like they're loved. They feel like it's like surface level because it's surface level. That's how I felt. That's what happened for me. It took me some time. I didn't really know what to do with this. So it cracked and there was so much pain inside of me. I'm not going to lie about this. There was so much pain inside of me, trapped energies, emotions, traumas. Today, I believe most of us has these things. Most of us have been through things in our early life that is programming us, but so deep down that, like I said in the beginning, whatever we are doing, it's kind of like we're not really there. It's not really the thing we want in our life. Can you relate to this? So, my second approach to manifestation happened by itself. Because I couldn't do anything else. I was kind of like if you've been in an accident and you are hospitalized or the doctor tells you not to walk. I had no doctor telling me that. I couldn't see it on my legs or anything. But my whole inner being was paralyzed. So I spent so much time in just being with myself and feeling all of those things that's been hidden in there, that's been trapped in there, that's been behind all the armor. And now I began to be with all of these things showing up. Things like if you're on the beach and there's like waves or things are coming up from the bottom. That was kind of like what happened for me. Now the second approach here was that as I began to release, transform, let go, whatever you want to call this, these deep hidden things, energies, I experienced more freedom inside. And with that, that's the second approach here, I also experienced more flow. More flow. So what happened for me was that when I was very, very in that state where it was a lot of just being, not doing, being. People ask me, but what did you be? What did you do? Not doing, just being. Being with me. So it would be like being with you being with you, not being distracted by anything, just being with you, observing what's going on the inside. This is so difficult for so many people, and yet it's so simple. What's going on? What do I feel? And when those feelings shows up that are not nice, those are the things that we used to run away from. Now we just stay with them, observe them, and let them do the thing they want to do. Let them do the thing. All those things inside of you, let it do what it want to do. Let it come up. But for the first time, not trying to understand it, not trying to figure it out, not putting strategies into it, let it come up. And from there, transforming itself. And after that transformation is freedom. And with that freedom is flow. It's a whole different way of living. Like I said, the first approach for me was power. Power. It was pure power and strategies. Not saying there's anything wrong with strategies. The second thing was much more me being me. And people say, but how would anything good happen for you? You being you, just being there. Let me share with you that when I did that, in that period of time, I understood that deeper down that in the first period of time, there was limiting beliefs. I changed into supporting beliefs. But deeper down than that, there were more beliefs. There were more beliefs. Core beliefs. And there were beliefs in there about not being good enough. There were beliefs in there about not deserving money or not deserving to be rich or successful, because behind that, not feeling good enough, not feeling like should have been here on earth, not feeling like being loved. Those are deep-rooted beliefs. And there's no strategies for this. I worked with people after I experienced this myself. Just observe how you're feeling right now. Take a deep breath in. What's going on inside, not on the outside, on the inside. And as those things transform by staying with them, and as I experienced more and more freedom, I also saw some very, very kind of magical things happening in my life. I was part of a property in the UK. I'm not in UK. And after COVID and I don't know if there was anything else, but it was kind of like we would lose a lot of money on that. And I was, oh no, not again. I'm always losing money. But I observed that. I transformed that. And I became good. I was like, okay, everything is okay. And as I experienced that freedom, again, this is the second approach to manifestation. As I experienced that freedom, not long after, I got an email. That email said, okay, we got a buyer. And we finally sold the property and also profited on it. And went from a thing that I've been in for so many years, not enough money, and into profiting on that one. And I didn't do anything. See, that's the thing. I didn't do anything. It's kind of funny, isn't it? And that's the flow part. That's just like really, it's very difficult to describe it, because it's a feeling of just from the inside out of freedom. This is how I experience it. And knowing, just knowing, but not having to do anything. Imagine that. You just sitting there being with yourself and just knowing, not from here, but the whole being, your whole being. Just knowing that things will solve, things will work out, things will be good. And it happened, right? I got another episode, another thing, and this is some years back, but this is the thing where, again, I was very aligned in my life with one thing, and that was like women. I didn't really want to step into a relationship, so I just played around and had some fun. And I remember I had this experience where inside I was feeling like there's a woman calling for me, or there's something happening. And I was like, first I felt those, that's strange, but I remember also there was feeling, okay, it's just going to work out. This is before my incident here. But the thing is that I went on a holiday with some guys. I went to Cyprus. This is a true story. I went to Cyprus. We were having a lot of fun. We were partying. We were enjoying the sun, the beaches, and just really having fun. And then one night, this amazing soul showed up. showed up, and all the guys, they were like, wow. They wanted to do whatever they could to speak with her, to impress her, to get her. And the thing is, I didn't do anything at all. I just had this great feeling inside. And you know what? This woman, from all of the guys approaching her, she came to me and we spoke. And we had a great night together. And she shared with me, she was living as a guide in Cyprus for 1 more month or something. And she shared with me after she would come, she was same country as me, she would come back to our country after that. And then she shared with me, she knew who I was, she'd seen me before, and she had that feeling that I was kind of like the one for her. And isn't that amazing? We were in another country. What's the what do you call that? Is that like an incident? And we had a great night together. We had some great days after that together. And when she came back to our country, she started living with me in my apartment, and we lived together for some years. I didn't force or use power or anything like that. It showed up in my life. Probably you know those experiences too. So those two approaches that I've spoken about in this video is like the first approach is like the powerful one. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep doing sales calls, keep doing presentations, keep putting videos up, keep doing all of those things. And with strategies, well, amazing things can happen. And I'm coming from my own. This is my experience, like this is where I am right now. The other part of this is the flow part, is the part of like doing the inner work as maybe the only thing. Doing the inner work as maybe the only thing. Doing your inner work. Becoming more and more aware, becoming more and more conscious about what's going on inside, and keep shifting those emotions, keep shifting those inner things going on, trapped energy, traumas. I keep saying the same things. And with that release, more and more freedom, more better energies, not better, but feeling better energies inside. And might be we have to take some action, but the thing is that those synchronicities, they keep showing up when we're in that energy. So I hope it kind of like makes some sense for you. I'm doing my best to sharing here, and I did a series on AI and manifestation, and I felt like stepping away from that. Maybe I'm going to go back, and this story kept showing up to myself about these two approaches to manifestation, and also because I too see a lot of videos around manifestation and sit down and think this thing and everything is happening in your life. But from my own experience, we have to go deeper than that. So I hope this helped, and I would really enjoy if you are watching this right now, if you're listening to what I'm saying, I would enjoy for you to let me know in the comments what's your take on this from your perspective, not about my life, but your life. Anything that shows up for you, anything that comes up for you, please, 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 I would love that. And then I hope to see you in the next episode. All right? Take care and lots of love.